Welcome to the 63rd RHAM High School graduation ceremony honoring the RHAM High School class of 2020. Your class has witnessed extraordinary events over this past year. Rather than simply learning about pandemics, you have each experienced the challenges firsthand. Rather than learning about equality and fairness, you are watching this challenge unfold before us each day. However, as a class and as individuals, you have proven yourselves to be remarkably resilient and demonstrated your willingness and abilities to overcome the most difficult obstacles. At a time in our history when we need hope more than ever, you, the RHAM class of 2020, offer hope of much better times. On behalf of the entire RHAM community, thank you for making us all so proud, and congratulations on your graduation from RHAM High School. This time, it is my great pleasure to introduce the President of the Class of 2020, Sydney Farrar.
Class of 2020, this may be no ordinary graduation, but this class is anything but ordinary. I mean, look at the year we had. Our sports teams, led by our seniors, had unbelievable seasons. I mean, our boys basketball team qualified for states. When was the last time they did that? And they weren't the only team to make it to states. Also, our drama department put on an amazing production. A production written, casted, and directed by a senior. And our school spirit was above and beyond. Our fan sections were always packed. Even when volleyball had an away game, the night of homecoming, people still went out and showed their support. This class was really something special, and we were there for each other every step of the way. However, there are some people we need to thank for helping us make it to this day. First, I would like to thank RHAM staff, teachers, and administration. Whenever we needed someone to talk to, we could go to you, whether it was school or personal. You watched us grow, guiding us over the years, preparing us for the next step of our lives, helping us become more independent. Also, thank you for being able to adapt during the pandemic so that we were able to continue our education and make it to this day. Also, a big thank you to our families. Every day, you have helped us be the best that we can, allowing us to be ourselves, but giving us a little bit of guidance. I know in the past couple months while we've been stuck at home, we all might have been a handful and a little annoying. So thank you for always supporting us and not killing us while we were stuck at home, at least just yet. But this is still our day, and it is important to remember all the things we've accomplished over the years. It helps to look back and remember all the memories we've made together. Now that we're beginning a new and scarier chapter of our lives, be happy about the past. Thinking of you guys, I am amazed of how well we have all grown. I remember freshman year, the first pep rally we went to as a class. Whenever the cheerleaders would come around to pick people for activities, we'd cower down and sit so that we wouldn't embarrass ourselves in front of the rest of the school. We were shy, just trying to blend in. But think back to senior year pep rally. A group of the most spirited kids fighting over who could go down and do a lip sync battle or be in a relay race. We cheered the loudest and showed our true school spirit, because there was no way we could embarrass ourselves that day. We may not have had all our fun senior moments, like senior outing or senior prom, but given the situation, we still did our best to see our friends and continue making memories. Birthday parades became a fun idea that would have never happened if it weren't for COVID. Finding a way to still be with our friends, but not getting close enough to give them a disease. Also, when phases started, we could start coming back together. We all found safe ways to be with our friends again, like going to the beach in small groups and hanging out outside so it was safer. I'm not sure about all of you, but I definitely spent a lot more days outside hiking than I would have if I could have been inside watching a movie with my friends or making food. But I wouldn't give up those hiking trips or days spent jumping off of cliffs or swinging from a rope swing, because they were my high school experiences. It's sad to see our high school careers ending. I will always miss the excitement I got when it was a RHAM News Day and we got a little break from school with the most entertaining program. I will miss Chick-fil-A trips or Wendy's 4-for-4s on the way home from an away game. I will miss the fun creative games played in senior study to pass the time, or in the morning just sitting around a table, still half asleep, talking to my friends before the bell rang. I will miss trying to leave the RHAM parking lot after school with a million other cars, making it take 30 minutes. I will miss the RHAM roller coaster, and I will miss feeling so supported by everyone around me. Thank you for the past 4 years. It may not have been an ideal ending, but we still made it work. Whatever path the future holds, whether it's college, military, or starting to work, I know you will do amazing things because this is the best group of kids I have ever met. Congratulations on making it this far, but the journey has just begun. So cheers to the last class of RHAM sachems. We really are unique and extremely special.
At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, who is a stranger to none of us. He is the first person that greets you when you enter RHAM High School, and it's his voice that you hear booming across the PA system, whether as himself or as Darth Vader. Please welcome your friend and mine, Daryl Kale.
Hello, RHAM High School. To the class of 2020, you have now heard me say various versions of that for the past 4 years. It's amazing that those years have seemed to crawl by at the time, but now feel so short. Do you remember when the speakers in the office made me sound like Darth Vader? Luke Skywalker, please come to the office. In the meantime, the world seems to be having an episode. It very much reminds me of my father-in-law's speech at my wedding. He opened with, "Life is bleak." Seriously. As comically dark an opening as that sounds, there's some unfortunate truth there. Some of the days leading up to this moment have been a challenge for us all. Let me just say this, not that my feelings should be a surprise to any of you. Racism is real, has been for a long time. It's bad. It needs to stop. I have been the beneficiary of privilege, and it challenges my sense of self. Oh, and there's a pandemic still going on that threatens the lives of people I love. Wait, it gets better. Into this mix, I'm also taking a new job and moving out of state. I have been put to the test. Is life bleak? The short answer is no. Is it hard? Yes. Are there ugly moments in life? Sometimes. Is it on par with seeking the Holy Grail? Sometimes, I won't lie. I'm not telling you this to scare you. You need to know that there are very real challenges facing you in the world today, and this isn't even a full list. In your lifetime, you will utter the phrase, "hardest thing I've ever done," more than once. Is it without hope? No, and here's why. I know that life and the world are amazing. You scratch the surface of anything and you will find magic. I have hope for the future because I have seen it. I've been saying hello to the future every day for the past 4 years. Every day you walked into that building, I saw the future taking shape. When you walked into my office with a question, I saw the future learning how to find answers. Having resources is one thing, learning to ask for and use those resources is something else. When you walked into my office because you were having a problem, I saw the future learning to use its voice. Sometimes just being able to ask for help is more valuable than the help itself. You wanted someone to listen, and I did. You needed it and had the courage to ask. When you walked into my office because you'd made a mistake, I saw the future learning from those mistakes. Don't forget, as the scribe of discipline referrals, I still know what you did last summer. If you ever saw me frustrated when you were in the hot seat, know now that that was only because of my concern for you. My care for you was never and will never be based on what you do. It is about who you are. I have seen the future, and it is you. It is a future with courage, purpose, and voice. Yes, there are problems and challenges to face. Yes, the lifesaver jar has an uncertain future. If you were never in the office, you won't get that reference, but I'll be leaving one behind in case you ever visit. No, I won't be in the office if you come back. It will be different for all of us. Things change. You may not have noticed, but 4 years has changed you a great deal. You have grown. The point of my father-in-law's speech was not that life is bleak. Life is hard, I think we're all aware. Yet on the challenges we face, there are also joys to be found and shared. In the past 4 years, I have found joy in the future, joy in you. You have expanded my world. You have given me the opportunity to know love as it truly exists on a larger scale. Each of you a whole person, not a matter of parts or descriptors, and fully deserving of that love. this is only a fraction of what I feel when I say, I believe in you. As my days at RHAM draw to a close, I can't help but be a little sad. But if the last few months have taught us anything, it should include that the building does not encompass what is RHAM. We are RHAM, no matter where we are. So I will close with something I said all day, every day. This is Daryl. How can I help?
Please join me in welcoming the Salutatorian for the class of 2020, Jason Bove.
Hello everyone. It's kind of weird to be talking to a camera right now, and not to a crowd of people, but nonetheless I'm beyond happy to be able to stand up here and talk to you all. First of all, thank you to everyone who has supported us in our journeys throughout high school. All of our families, staff, teachers are unbelievable, and we sure as hell wouldn't have made it this far without you, so thank you. You know, over the course of quarantine, I've had a lot of time, as I'm sure you all have, to sort of reflect on high school and think about these past 4 years. And in the end, I've really come to one big conclusion about my high school career, and that's that, all things considered, I really regret working and trying so hard at school. Now, I'm sure that sounds absurd, but let me explain. Ever since I entered high school as a naive little freshman, it was a goal of mine to be at the top of my class, and throughout high school I worked really, really hard to achieve this goal. I put schoolwork in front of everything else, and taking as many hard courses as I could, packing my schedule full of classes every year. Really, before I knew it, I was doing nothing but schoolwork. It got to the point where I was skipping school dances, concerts, and sports games just to study. It wasn't really about until fourth quarter or so into my junior year when I really pulled my nose out of the books and started to realize what I had been missing for the past 3 years. All these years while I was studying, I was missing out on spending time and experiencing the true high school experience with this amazing class of 2020. Life is all about balance, and it took me way too long to find the right balance of schoolwork and, well, not schoolwork. Looking back on all of high school, the things that I remember and the things that stick out to me aren't studying for my chemistry test or writing an English paper. What sticks out is shouting, "Let's go Delicio" at volleyball games, or skipping homecoming to cheer on the girls' volleyball team at the CCC finals. What sticks out is coding ourselves in bug spray because of Triple E in order to watch the football games together. Whether it was watching Will put on the best pep rally in my 4 years at the school, or simply cheering on one of our great sports teams, looking back, every single one of my best memories from high school has been from spending time with this amazing class of 2020. I really wish I had put the books down and found the right balance earlier and been able to make more memories with everyone else. That being said, I do want to thank each and every one of you for making these past 4 years so special and so memorable. Now, I know this isn't really the ending to our senior year that any of us really wanted, but if anything, I think it shows how resilient of a class we are. Even with everything going on, we're able to keep high spirits and move forward. We're able to plan a prom, hopefully, and play water wars, and most of all, stay positive and have a good time enjoying the last bits of our senior year. We're able to get outside and go to the beach together and just spend time together. The world threw everything it had at us and tried to keep us down, but yet we still managed to have a good time and live out our senior year as best we could. And I think that speaks volumes about us as a class. And this will absolutely be a trait that's going to stick with us and help us do great things in the years to come. You know, everyone says that college is the best 4 years of your life, but I have trouble believing that it will top these past 4 years. It's going to be hard to leave these people and head our separate ways. These have been my best friends for the past 4 years. I've grown up with them and watched them transform from scared little freshmen into some of the most amazing people I know. We became so close as a class, and I just don't want to leave. That being said, I really can't wait to see what everyone accomplishes once we leave high school. This senior class truly is an extraordinary one. I'm so proud of everything that we've done. Together we've accomplished so much, but I truly believe this is only the beginning of this. I wouldn't have wanted to spend the last 4 years of my life with any other group of people. All of you are truly so special, and I'm beyond proud of all of us for getting here. Thank you.
It is my honor to introduce the Valedictorian for the RHAM High School class of 2020, Reagan Fleer.
Good evening, parents, friends, families, faculty, and class of 2020. Thank you all so much for coming out and supporting us today. Graduation can be so many things depending on your perspective. It clearly is an important milestone, and while it marks the end of a phase in our lives, it also signals the start of so many important journeys. It marks our official change from child to adult, along with the many responsibilities that come with that title. Graduation also begins our next act, whether that is a new job, time to travel, the military, career training, or college. The opportunities are endless. So in the spirit of unique perspectives and endless opportunities, I decided to formulate my thoughts around something that captures all of the uniqueness of the class of 2020. This could only be High School Musical. For those of you who don't know, High School Musical is a popular Disney Channel original movie that aired as the class of 2020 was growing up. Personally, from the moment I viewed the first High School Musical movie as a 6-year-old on my living room couch, I realized that the essence of that movie was exactly what I wanted my high school experience to be like. People constantly singing and dancing in the hallways, everyone friends with each other, and of course, Zac Efron. Much to my dismay, I soon realized that life could not always be like my favorite childhood movie, and that, to be honest, I have a horrible singing voice. Rather than worrying about Troy Bolton and the Spring Musicale, my peers and I spent what were supposed to be some of the most carefree moments of our lives on more pressing issues like the global pandemic, mass loss, climate change, and widespread political and social unrest, just to name a few. As disappointing as it is for us to celebrate our graduation separately instead of together as a class, and for me to record these thoughts instead of speaking to you in person, I actually believe that from this time of great adversity, we have benefited immensely. These few months have shown me a new level of dedication by my teachers, who, in the blink of the eye, took learning from the classroom to the Chromebook without skipping a beat. To my teachers and all of the faculty at RHAM, thank you, and we will miss you. I have also learned a lot about my family during this time. Who would have thought that it would take a global pandemic to get us to eat lunch together every day or binge a Netflix series together? And speaking of rising to the challenge, we of course cannot forget the millions of frontline healthcare workers who have risked everything to help us through this pandemic. The class of 2020 thanks you. Ever since elementary school, our grade has been known as the loud class or the crazy class. The 8th graders or upperclassmen or whoever was ahead of us as we approached the next step in our educational journeys feared the havoc we would wreak upon the school. From my perspective, what they saw as craziness was really just our intense spirit and passion that was evident from our earliest days. We have had heated discussions about the most complex issues in the confines of a classroom that you would be surprised came from a group of teenagers. During my freshman year English class, for example, we spent a full 2-hour block, as well as the weeks following that discussion, arguing over the fate of a character in The Help, and that was only as 14-year-olds. For those of you who have not read The Help, it is a pivotal novel about racial inequality in the 1960s South and how a group of powerful women combated it. Even as early as freshman year, we may not have been singing in the cafeteria, except some of us on Mondays, but we were applying that same crazy energy to the most challenging of issues. As we grew, our passion and intensity for real issues grew with us, narrowing our interest in discovering how we could each individually mold the world. As our braces came off, our hunger to take on the toughest challenges came in. Some of us debated simulated world issues at statewide conferences, some debated the bogus calls of volleyball referees, and some debated Fluffernutter Day. But whatever it was, we cared and took it on with full force. RHAM Class of 2020 students may be fiery, but that simply shows we are passionate and determined to fight for the things that inspire us. Whether it's through Model United Nations, sports, drama, activism, art, music, or anything else we can possibly think of, we are going to give it our all. If I had to choose any group of individuals to move forward and address the insanity that is 2020, I would look no further than right here in Hebron, Connecticut. We have learned so much from our teachers and our peers as we move through RHAM that there is no doubt about our preparedness for the future and our next act in life. We know how to work as a team, and we thrive with a little chaos to get things done. I hope that we will look back at 2020 and remember how it brought us together, not how it tore us down. We, as a generation, have the power to make change. In closing, although our collective experience was a lot less related to the Wildcats of High School Musical than we might have hoped, I am confident that the class of 2020 will go on to make the rest of our lives just like High School Musical. As the song goes, we're all in this together. We can and will make a lasting, positive impact on the world.
Thank you for joining us for this ceremony this year. Congratulations to all of our graduates, and once again, thank you for joining us.